As you watch this episode today, you will gain one thing: clarity. Enough clarity that you'll have something to talk about at your next personal meeting with someone in the Purposed Networking Group here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Being a go-giver as an entrepreneur means one thing: that you do things for other people's reasons instead of your own. So the question on your mind today could be, is it worth it? What about bills? What about payroll? What about the expectations I need to meet every single week? How am I supposed to do that? Well, that's exactly why we're in the room today. Welcome to the Purpose Podcast in Raleigh, where today we will dive into the first law of the 5 laws of stratospheric success, the law of value. Your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. Diego and I today are joined by a special guest, our friend, Steven Stemkowski. Steven, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, Adam. Nice to be here.
Steven is a father, a business owner, and an incredibly generous friend who leads by example. Every meeting at the Purpose Networking Group, Steven gets the most shout outs I've ever heard collectively from people in the group thanking him for his generosity. And the reason why we invited him here today, he was handpicked to come in here today because he lives generosity exactly as someone should, by taking action. And today we're going to dive into the content in this book, The Law of Value, that your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment, and really dig into questions behind Steven's life, his lifestyle, and his business, and how that shaped him as a man, as a leader in the community, and just as someone who has continued to practice consistency and faithfulness over the years. So Steven, thank you for being a great friend to me and for Diego.
Well, thank you very much for having me, guys, and I appreciate it, and I look forward to providing some valuable content.
Well, Steven, I mean, you are very well regarded in our group, Purpose Networking, but you're also very well regarded in the industry, just across networking circles. We know that speaking your name in the community is a very favorable thing. Like I'm very grateful to know you, and so I want to learn from you today. I want to tap into not only what you do, but how you got there and where you're going with it. And our hope is that there are people that are listening, that are watching, that are going to say, I want to know how he does business and how it is that he's creating success for himself, but more importantly, for his sphere, for the people that he does business with. So let me start off by asking you one very simple question. If you were to define value, how would you go about defining that literally, as well as just from your experience in the course of action?
Defining value, so the value that we give in business is exceeding expectations of customers, often exceeding the expectations that your competitors are offering. So the way that we provide value is by giving more tech support than you would probably expect, by spending more time with our clients, giving away our engineering has been a big way of gaining customers and some traction in the business. When people see that you really truly care and you have experience. I do telecom and phone systems because I have a true passion for it. I used to go drive a couple of states away to watch my friend install these type of systems on the weekend. So the passion is definitely something you have to have because that will show value. That'll people will see that you care, and from 20 years of experience of doing telecom and VoIP and selling to a lot of different types of businesses, you get very good at even helping some of the smaller businesses. As you know, I've seen big businesses in New York City, and coming here, there's very big businesses here as well, but we also have a lot of the smaller businesses that need help along the way and the coaching along the way, and by helping them set up their businesses properly, maybe even giving them the same type of treatment you would a Fortune 500, is bringing value to the table for them, right? And that's what we try to do.
Well, I appreciate that answer. And one of the things, I don't know your industry, right? You've given the audience an idea of what it is that you do from a general sense. But one thing that I do understand is that the big box folks out there that are in the industry have managed to set expectations really low. And I know at times you compete with your own, compete may be the wrong, you struggle with your own clients in helping them understand that they don't need to expect so low. When you can bring a higher level value, they can get higher level results from that. Speak to that a little bit, because I do feel like as business owners, sometimes we get caught trying to get to what's the expression, the race to the bottom in some instances, and when we want to raise the bar and our customer base is used to the bar being so low, they don't recognize the authenticity and the value behind that. Speak a little bit at the struggles you've had and how you've been able to overcome and create real loyalty from your customer base.
So I think the internet, I sell business phone systems, and the internet changed the whole world and the way business phone systems were sold. So I was selling business phone systems before the internet, and we sold Nortel phone systems. And the way we did that is the same way we transitioned to the voice over IP world. And by doing that, we didn't just sell like the other guys, right? They were just kind of, they have the mass marketing, they have the dollars to do that, and they're just pushing phones out there, plugging them in. And I don't think they care as much because, if you're selling, 10,000 customers and you lose 1,000, that might not matter as much to them, right? As long as they hear that marketing machine. And by talking about some of that marketing machine, it's not very true. I'm sure whatever, business you're in, you see marketing and it's just not very true. So I bring some of that to our customers, whether it's call center or call recording or how to set it up, or I was just told you could just plug this in, and I think, any of us know that, technologies could be challenging, right? And you can't just plug it right in, right? So to provide value, we bring an advanced skill set to the customer. That is one of the ways we compete in the market. To stay competitive, I think I really appreciate everything you mentioned, Diego. I really, truly care about customers, and we try to help our customers do better. If our customers do better and get more customers, it's no longer, I'm not just selling them phones, right? I'm now a part of their organization. What do we do? How do we do this? Let's put a call center over here. You're no longer just just another service, right? You're an intricate part of their business, and it's kind of like hiring your best, firing your best sales team. Why would you do that, right? Well, why would you fire your best engineers? So we are outsourced experts for our customers.
So in a very real way, I know a lot of small businesses are getting to the point where they go and hire fractional people.
Right.
And it sounds like for your strongest customer base, your most loyal customers, you are a fractional part of their business that creates the success to the bottom line.
That's correct. Like the fractional CFO that we saw came in today. I think that's a really great, I think that's awesome to have a fractional CFO. It's something that I was sourcing out. I have different accountants and bookkeepers to create that. But the whole outsourced, much like Rich from Two Dog, where they're an outsourced IT, we are that outsourced VoIP company, right? So we really try to become a department, right? So they can call us, and we're more of a department in their company than some toll-free number that's some customer service lady And that just doesn't cut it. And the good news is because that exists, and what I was talking about, the internet, that internet brings a lot of this marketing, brings a lot of the fake stuff. And, you got to come to the customer and sit down with them. And once you unfold it for them, they understand. So that's... the internet's brought a lot of good things, but the internet's also brought a lot of fake marketing. I look at it that way because if it says you integrate with Salesforce, right, and you don't have Salesforce Enterprise, it doesn't really integrate.
So what I'm hearing you say is that some value that you see a lot of worth in is telling the truth in marketing, even before you even start servicing your customers or clientele. Is that true?
Yeah, that's very true, right? So they come in and they want all different types of integrations, and we could do integrations, right? So we have an API and you can integrate with it, but if you don't even have an IT person nor someone that knows what an API is, you probably shouldn't go down that road yet. And we have other things that we could do to kind of get you to that point where when you're ready for that integration, you'll be there, and to let them know, don't focus on that right now, because you're focusing on something you're not going to need for 2 or 3 years. And a lot of times the marketing makes you think you need all of that. And truth be told, there's hundreds of features in phone systems, but the phone needs to ring, call quality. These are the real important things that business owners care about. I have lots of features, and I can tell you that most of them, they really want the core features to work really good, and they've been almost tricked a little bit by marketing, thinking you need all these types of features. And if you stick to the core features, whether it's phone systems or computers or your accounting, you don't need all those extra bells and whistles. It could really sidetrack you.
Steve, one thing that you brought up that I really want to focus on is, and you mentioned a number of different resources that you bring as far as referral partners, right? It's not just about the clients, but you have a referral partner base that's a big part of how you do business.
Sure.
Right? And in doing so, you're leveraging those different industries that are going to help you grow business, you're going to help them grow business, and it's going to look like you're bigger as a company than you might be. Right?
Sure.
Because you're leveraging. Talk a little bit about those relationships and how you're bringing value, not just to them, but through them.
Sure. So the power of these groups, right, and the power of the Purpose Networking Group, for example, is, I have expert level Spectrum people, expert level IT people that I see every week, and, they're very experienced, a lot of us, right? So when you need to speak about when you're setting up a new building or a new space, we have the team of experts. We might all be different companies, but whatever it may be, from a commercial realtor to get us a commercial space, and then once the commercial realtor gets us to space, then we need to really find the proper internet. So we'll pull in the proper internet service provider. And a lot of these people are in our groups. We network with them, and I get to bring trusted people that some of them I've known 5-10 years. And that is important, right? Some people say, well, I was looking at this, and if they're not going to be there in a year and it's just a new fad, you probably want to stick to the core, right? Core people. And so that's, I think the groups and the people that I spend my time with are really important. And those are the people that I want to bring to my clients. So, that's...
So the value is in your relationships, because when someone hires you, they're also hiring a segment of your network, almost like a team. So what I'm hearing you say is you're like you're taking ownership and responsibility over the people who you're trusting, your audience to interact with.
You do, and then when you build a really good network of people, and you have really good customers, and you're helping them along the way, that team comes right along with you. The people that, Rich DePiero of Two Dog, introduced me to P&G, and his relationship, and, including John with Spectrum, John Bain with Spectrum, have helped me, right? And then I help them right back, right? So, and then to continue to help everybody, including our customers, it gets a little easier, right? Because you have trusted professionals, and you don't have to search far and wide to hope these people are going to do it for you. You already know what to expect, and the type of quality you're getting, and yeah, that speaks a lot to the clients.
Steve, let's get a little bit more transactional here, because anyone listening is without a doubt learning something about value from the context of your interpretation of the Go Giver book. But at the end of the day, businesses run on money, right? There's still a bottom line. There's still a financial component that needs to be put into place, and your services are priced accordingly because of the value you give. And we learn from the book that value is represented by not what it costs, but how much more you can give beyond that, right? I'm paraphrasing. Bob Berg, in one of his podcasts, had mentioned that money is simply the echo of value, right? And he had this wonderful way of visualizing it, where it's a lot like thunder and lightning, right? When we give an enormous amount of value, that is the lightning before the thunder, right? And the thunder is the echo of that value, which is the money, right? And interestingly, if anyone who's ever grown up and seen a lightning storm, like, it's the flash of lightning that catches us by surprise, and then we're waiting for the thunder. And sometimes it's loud, and sometimes it's not. I want to get a little bit of context from you in that sense, where talk to us a little bit about that flash of lightning that you're offering, right, and then what that thunder looks like in terms of expectation from the client in the way that you run your business.
So I would say that the lightning is very similar, right, to a storm, right, where the lightning comes, and that is us responding fast, all the way across the board, right, from creating your account, for creating the order, doing the job, doing all the projects, and spending that time, the quality time with the people, right? So that's, they get to see that, right? So they experience the speed, they experience the support, they experience the, wow, they'll come back, right? And they'll come back again. And, when you keep doing that over and over and over and over again, people start to really trust you. And then, not that you set the price, right? But, people don't really have to wonder, is he charging me the right amount? Is it too much? Is it too little? How do you know? I didn't know. I asked someone today how much the floors were going to be, and I thought it would be a lot higher, and it was less, right? So, people don't know, but after you keep on providing that value, they're not questioning, what you're going to charge them, because they know this guy does this all the time, nonstop, for everybody, very fair across the board. So the lightning is our service, and all the way through all departments, and the thunder is the client saying wow, and happily paying the bills. I happily wake up and make sure our tech support is cranking at 7 o'clock in the morning, so our clients don't experience anything but our system online and ready to go. And that's what we deliver.
Well, I have to believe that thunder also comes in the way of referral business that comes back to you in other ways. Happy client, they're going to recommend you, right? Happy resource and referral partners, they're going to recommend you, because the flash is so big, it's so intense, it's so bright, that they want to reciprocate with that thunderous clap of approval. And I suspect, from everything that you've mentioned, all of our experience with you in terms of what we've seen in networking groups and business and otherwise, that the thunder's strong for you. So we're hoping for that.
Yeah. The thunder with everybody, giving you more business, definitely comes about. And the good news about that is that you don't have to spend money on fake marketing, right? If you're really delivering a product and a service, you don't have to worry about that fake marketing, right? You come to the groups, you work with your people, and you help your customers.
Steve, we've talked a lot about your business and how you operate. Give us a couple minutes about you as a mentor, you as a business person, who anyone who's listening here who has no interest in getting into your nature of business, but wants to get into business, but wants to practice your way of leadership, of business practice. Talk a little bit about that from your experience.
I would say find something you really enjoy doing, right? And it's work, right? So how do you find something? How do you make joy in work, right? But once you find out how what you like to do, and mine happens to be technology, right? And applying the technology to the people. That's what we like to do. So I would say. I got a little tongue-tied there. So ask that. What's the question again?
I feel like before we got on the camera, Diego looked at Steve, and Steve said, I'm finding that normally in my day-to-day now, I'm finding myself as a business coach more than a phone system integrator or installer. So how have you seen a transition in your experience and expertise, and as time has passed, how have you started to see your role in the hat that you wear change with your clientele as you've become more wise?
I think that, we're not just selling phones, but we're helping people with business. Through all the years of repeatedly helping people with business, I think people do look at us and say, wow, if they're doing pretty well, how are they doing it? What systems are they using? Things like that. So that's what I would, recommend.
You said one more thing earlier, too. You said, yeah, sometimes people feel like they need all these things because of marketing. And I come in there and I tell them, hey, you don't need this for another 2 or 3 years. How often are you having conversations like that with clients?
It happens every few clients, right, where they're definitely looking at, when they're setting up their businesses for the first, if they're a 1 or 3-year-old business. I often see them looking at things that maybe they shouldn't be paying attention to. But, you also don't want to, offend somebody,
Sure.
Or tell them that. So you have to find a kind of happy medium of, and a lot of way to do that, right, is by showing them how to do that with the technology without spending the money on that technology. So that's a way.
Has there been a time where you have stepped in to maybe what could have felt like an uncomfortable conversation, like a lightning bolt, and then you've seen it pay dividends later where you said, hey, I don't think you need that right now, and then it actually helped you long term?
Yeah, I think people start to see, or maybe they say no and they go for it, and then they're like, oh well, I see I don't necessarily need that as much. So yeah, I could see people definitely looking at that differently. So yeah.
Yeah.
Steve, I want to bring you back to the mentorship question.
Sure.
Because that's ultimately, for many of our people watching that may not, again, be in competition with you or need your service, but want to grow from your experience. Maybe 1 or 2 thoughts from the mentorship side of you, having grown this business and exuded all of this value. What would you tell somebody who is wanting to get to that next level of business based on the experience you've had?
I would say really stay focused, right? Wake up early, make time for yourself, and you really have to put in the time. So for me, it's, I happen to be a person that wakes up really early, and I find that almost necessary, right? Where I really wake up early and I give myself a couple of hours before the day starts. If I don't do that, I feel like the day gets ahead of me before I get ahead of it. So that's just one of the ways that I deal with it. And finding good people to work with, and other mentors, right? Who's going to mentor you? And also, enjoying mentoring people, right? And enjoying business. I truly enjoy business itself. So I don't mind getting up every day and doing it and helping other people in it, right? Because that's my sport. My sport is business.
Well, I think we're coming up on time. So, Adam, you want to close us out?
Yeah. Well, Steve, thank you for your time today. And thank you, Diego, as well. Thank you, audience. If you're still listening, thank you. I applaud you and I commend you, because a lot of people would have logged off and gotten distracted by now, and you've stayed focused. Like Steve said, that stay focused in your day-to-day routine. And if you take anything away from this, take away the thing that you might not see as valuable, or might not see as worthwhile, or might not see as worthy. That might be just the very thing that your clients need the most. Those times when Steve's talking about, hey, it's my team that I bring in and we respond fast and we take care of people. Well, that might be what your client really needs today, because they might have had a horrible day. Everything could be going south, and you come in and you make it rain. You know what I mean? Like, you start dancing when everyone else is screaming. And so I just share that because value doesn't always look like, hey, let's market these really fancy messages. And I feel like that's what I took away from you today, Steve, is you said it's not always the value that you see in marketing, because sometimes people don't need the things that other people think are valuable at the time. Or like in our culture on social media, how you think things that look super valuable and yet it's pretty fleeting, you know? So to me, that was my big takeaway, is that value doesn't always look like what the marketplace says it is through marketing. It can come in the form of integrity, telling the truth, honesty, and trust, and the people that you bring to certain situations, who's in the room with you. That's value as well. So thank you so much for watching the Purpose Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2, The Law of Value. Tune in next week as we talk about law number 2. Like, subscribe, and share this message with a friend if it helped you. Thanks a lot.